This commenter said that he can tell that my app is made with AI. Well, so I changed the UI of the app to make it less AI and more human, and these are some of the changes that I did. So let's go. I learned that, believe it or not, the changes that make the most amount of difference is actually not the layout of the colors, but it's actually the animations and illustrations. It sort of makes interacting the app more like interacting the things in the real world. In the real world, sadly, there's physics. They don't just teleport out of nowhere. So it is good to just convey what is possible in real life and then put it inside the app. And these are some of the things I did. I have some notes which I took down and we can just talk about them. I know that it looks very different now from the previous time that you saw the app, but I will slowly explain each feature that I changed and the reasons behind them. The first thing that I changed was in the category part of the app. So before that, when a user selects a category like breakfast, the colored pill will teleport to the selected category. But in real life, things don't just teleport out of nowhere, but actually moves from one spot to another. So to illustrate that physics, I added an animation between when the user clicks from one category to another, and it looks kind of nice and smooth. Next are the cards and the buttons. They shrink when the user clicks or hover over them, and the reason why I chose this is because I took an inspiration from a YouTube video that I saw, which is about how to improve UI UX in under 10 minutes, and I stole one of his ideas and implemented it into the app. The idea here is that when the users click on something, the elements will have a feedback to show that the clicking is actually happening and they are not actually clicking a wall or something that doesn't have a feedback. So when they click on the add recipe button, the button will shrink slightly, and the same as for each recipe, which is kind of nice. After this change, I noticed that the search bar on top was taking too much space, and it sort of didn't let more recipe or didn't let the other recipe to shine and take up more space that they can actually fill up. So I turned the search bar into a small little icon at the top right hand corner where the users can click it. It saves space that could be used to add more recipe to the app, especially when the recipes are in a row like this, so they can see more recipes at once rather than just some, because of just a search bar, which is not really necessary to say the least. Since everything here had animation, when the user clicks the search icon at the top right hand corner, the icon will then animate to a search bar, as you can see. Wow, so cool. The category row will move to the side and then to make more space for the search bar, and then the user can just search whatever recipes that they want. And when they do not really want to search a recipe anymore, they can click on the X icon and it will fit back into the categories row. Very nice. After that, looking at the app from afar, the homepage to me felt too crowded and it felt wrong and doesn't feel like a premium app that I am aiming for. So after looking for inspiration from social media apps like Threads, I noticed that one of the design, or most of the design, actually encompasses a full width image card, which makes the app less cramped. So I implemented that idea into my own app. Now the cards are full width and one recipe takes one row instead of two. And then one small detail that I changed is that a toast appear when the user add a recipe to the today's cooking page over here. So when the user press the plus icon, a toast will appear over here to send a feedback to the user that they actually added the recipe into the today's page, and yeah, they actually know that they actually done the thing that they want to do. Of course, the tools also have animation, which is kind of obvious. Next, to illustrate the next point, let's add a recipe. So when the user adds a recipe, sometimes they do not want an image because they did not have the image. So they just skip that part and then enter the recipe name. Maybe they put like noodles or something, then they add a description. And then sometimes they do not want to add a prep time because they do not know how much time they have to spend to prep the items or cook the items. But previously, the app actually needs a prep time or cook time and doesn't actually allow a blank state. So I changed that, and now if the users decide to leave anything blank, it will allow that except for the recipe name, which is kind of obvious why. So I will continue adding the recipes, maybe add a category, prep maybe 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Ingredients maybe one noodle, one noodle, and then one water. Then step boil water, then cook noodle, then add save recipe. And then as you notice, since I didn't add a placeholder image will appear, is so that it doesn't leave a gray square at the top of the recipe card, which looks ugly to be honest. And then speaking of placeholder image, when there's no recipe at the today's page, this sad looking bowl placeholder image will appear with some text at the bottom at the center. At first, when there's no recipe, the shopping list will just appear at first, and everything, all the text will appear at the top, and at the bottom there are no recipe or nothing, no text, anything. And it felt kind of weird, awkward, because it's very top heavy. So I just move everything to the center with some text. Very nice. And then at the recipe card page, as you can see, I added a border around the image. This is also inspired by the same YouTube video that I saw earlier. In the video, it showed this kind of card as well, and I just implemented it into the app, and also added shadows around the card. And lastly, I added an emoji here to add some character to the card instead of just putting plain text, and looks very ugly. And lastly, page animations, which this animation over here. This to me the most painful part of making this entire app. At first I tried using the built-in sliding animation from the tabs component, but it looked ugly, it didn't look smooth. So I decided to code out the sliding animation manually for each page. With the first version, when I clicked the next page blinked immediately for some reason before the next page even slides in. It was so close to being perfect, but yet so far. After the second iteration, the blinking problem was fixed, but then the problem that still existed is that the page did not slide out when I navigated out of it. After fiddling about the code, everything works. There's animation between the home and today's page, but then a new challenge appeared. Although the animation worked between the two pages, the problem is that I have 3 pages. The animation that I added won't affect the third page. I then asked Claude on how to fix this problem, and it gave an idea to make use of the existing cooking context that I already used to link the recipe data among the 3 pages. I then had to use the same cooking context to keep track of the page indices to let the pages know which page the users is at, and then respond correspondingly on how the user interacts with the tabs. After implementing the code, I thought I was done. Everything looked good, smooth, and perfect. But psych! The animation from today's page to the home page is opposite. Luckily, this was simple enough to fix. I just adjusted the code a bit and it looked nice. In the future, some changes that I might want to implement is fonts to make it look more nice, and colors so that it's more colorful, because in real life there's so many colors, and I want to implement that into my app so that it looks more unique and less AI-y. And also, I want to implement icons, because when people are using the app, they prefer reading the icons more than reading the words, because it's more convenient and they can immediately know that, oh, this is a homepage, or oh, this is a button to save, or oh, this is the button that edits, or something like that. And also I might want to implement AI into the app so that it makes adding recipe more easier, when they can just speak into the app and just say that, oh, I want to use so and so ingredients with so and so cooking steps, and then the AI will automatically fill the form for them. Maybe that's the future idea, which I have no clue on how to implement. I just have to learn how to use AI into the app, and maybe it makes life easier. I don't know. So yeah, these are some UI UX stuff that I implemented into my app, and so anyways, that's my opinion. Bye.